admission at matinee rates. I know a big-budget beauty with impeccable taste. She'll get you what you need to put a smile on your face with just the right blend of leather and lace. Madam Grindhouse is gonna be your guide to a weird, wild, wonderful world waiting inside. Step right up, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. She's here to provide Madam Grindhouse.
Hello, my little sprocket friends and cinematic masochists. It's me, Madam Grindhouse, your cinematrix of the silver screen. So, if you've seen a couple episodes of my show, you may have asked yourself, why talk about these movies? Wasn't the Grindhouse era over decades ago? And you would be right, but in 2007 there was a sudden spike in interest in Grindhouse movies, which led to a lot of the more recent movies and other projects we cover. And this can all be traced back to one movie that tried to recreate the original Grindhouse experience for the modern era. Tonight's feature, Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino's Grindhouse. After a movie night at Tarantino's, complete with vintage trailers and bumpers, the two had the idea to create their own Grindhouse-style double feature and have some of their filmmakers' friends make fake trailers to go with the movies. The complete experience ran about 3 hours and was released on Easter weekend of 2007. It did poorly at the box office. The release date didn't help, but also a lot of people didn't realize they were getting two movies and often left once the first one was over. They're lost, really. Before we start, I just want to clarify something. As I said, this movie in total is about 3 hours long, and we really don't like episodes of this show to run much longer than 30 minutes maximum. So since we're essentially covering two movies this time, the recap is probably going to skip over a lot of stuff and be fairly bare bones so we have time to get to everything, and also work in some of our funnier jokes. So if you've seen this movie and we skip your favorite part, apologies in advance. Alright, let's roll it. We start off with our first trailer, Danny Trejo as Machete. This one has a pretty fun hidden gag if you like all things Robert Rodriguez. Machete here is actually supposed to be the same character as Uncle Machete from the Spy Kids movies, which explains why he's such a badass.
They just fucked with the wrong Mexican. Action.
God has mercy. I don't.
Shit, Cheech Marin is a badass too. Who knew? So this trailer was popular enough that Rodriguez would turn it into his next film project. Not everything from the trailer made it into that movie, but we'll talk more about that another time. After our content warning footage plays, we get into our first feature, Planet Terror. This is Robert Rodriguez's homage to 80s era horror, especially the movies of John Carpenter. It also includes this pretty sweet early 80s style logo for Dimension Films. During the credits, we get Rose McGowan pole dancing and... Is that a euphemism for Rose's tits? If not, can it be? Rose is playing our lead, go-go dancer Cherry Darling, and like any woman who has worked at the go-go joint or strip club, she's got an asshole manager.
God damn it, girls. You're gonna do that shit? Do it on stage.
Hey, the lesbians dance to make you money. You want them to make out on stage, you pay double time, jackass. Or, you know, if you just want the lesbians to make out, we'll do it for free, but you don't get to watch. Cherry's having one of those lovely what the hell am I doing with my life crises and quits her job, taking her last day's pay with her on the way out. As she starts walking home, she nearly gets run over by a convoy made up of what looks like military vehicles. Guess we know where all the infrastructure money for sidewalks went. The convoy arrives at a nearby military base, and it turns out there's some sort of shady deal for chemical weapons happening. We meet Dr. John Abbey Abington, who isn't happy that the specimens he asked to be delivered along with the chemicals have escaped, and Abbey has an unusual, hobby.
I also want your balls.
Fucking pussies! Let me go, you son of a bitch! I can get you more! No!
Dude's lucky that blade is sharp. Castration with a dull or rusty blade would take a lot longer. Don't you fucking worry about how I know that. Anyway, just before military dude gets his nuts chopped, he screams that there's more of the chemical stuff, which clearly makes Abby worried. And with good reason, because the dude actually in charge is Lieutenant Muldoon, played here by Bruce Willis in one of those, we only had him for a day so we're shooting all his lines and close-ups that can be inserted with footage of the other actor performances. A gunfight breaks out, as does Abby's ball jar, and he's quickly taken down by the soldiers. And as Muldoon again asks where the shit is, we see that whatever disease the soldiers have, it works fast. And so does Abby.
Everywhere.
Dude, why the fuck are you picking them up? You've got nothing to store them in. Are you just gonna walk around with those in your pockets? While the soldiers walk into the gas, Abby makes a break for it, but notices the gas is spreading out further than he thought it would. He's attacked by one of the dudes exposed to it, but we don't follow him. Instead, we follow a car emerging from the underpass that stops at one of those weird combo gas stations and barbecue joints that you can sometimes find in Texas. While the woman driving stops to refill her radiator, Cherry arrives at the joint, and the owner, JT, gives the driver of the car a jug of water for emergencies.
We're serving inside tonight. Best barbecue in Texas, round the clock.
And here's where I risk alienating a chunk of my audience. Yes, being the best barbecue in Texas is a high bar to clear, but I'm sorry, North Carolina barbecue's better. Oh, I'm right and you all know it. We then cut to the home of Doctors William and Dakota Block. Both work the night shift at the local hospital, but it seems that this is not a happy home, as Dakota's planning to take their kid Tony and leave Block. Back at JT's, our other main character, El Rey of Ray's Wrecking, shows up and we learn that he and Cherry have a history.
That's my jacket. I looked for it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, how long did you look for me, Ray?
You know the jacket belonged to me, you didn't.
I'm going to be a stand-up comedian.
Girl, you don't even smile. Stand-up won't work out for you. Not everyone is Stephen Wright. Cherry gets a ride from Ray, and then we go back to the hospital where Block quickly finds himself his first patient of the night.
Hey, just sew it up?
Well, normally I would. I'd even be doing something to stop the bleeding. The only problem is this one doesn't bleed.
Come on, dude, you're a doctor. Don't put stuff in your mouth while you're examining a patient. Turns out Joe here has a temperature of 105, and whatever he's got is working fast on him. Really fast.
Nice. Black abscess tongue.
I'm amazed he can still speak with that happening. Actually, one of the highlights of Planet Terror is the makeup effects. Yeah, some of it is augmented digitally, but there's a ton of practical effects too, and they're just as cool, gross, and impressive as anything made in the era this movie is homaging. The infection in Joe's arm is moving so fast that amputation is the only thing they can do to keep it from spreading, and that's where Dakota comes in. We learn she's an anesthesiologist, carries what looks like a needle gun in a garter, and her specialty is almost immediate knockout with a case of 3 color-coded syringes.
My yellow friend. It's just to take the sting.
Ah.
My blue friend. You'll barely feel. And after my red-headed friend, you'll never see me again.
We then go back to the hot driver from earlier, and after some foreshadowing for events in Death Proof,
dedicated to our own Jungle Julia, in loving memory.
She confirms her car is completely died, and after grabbing the most phallic-looking flashlight I've ever seen, heads out to get some help. And as I'm sure you've guessed, this does not go well for her. A fun thing Rodriguez decided to do during the editing of this movie was to degrade the footage to varying degrees depending on the scene. If a scene gets more violent, the film gets dirtier, and with more scratches and flaws. Anytime the word cut is said, or if someone mimes cutting something, there's a jump cut in the scene. It's really cool and makes it seem like this really is an overused print, where people kept replaying the money shots. As the hot driver's body is dragged off the road, Ray and Cherry drive by, not realizing the roadkill they're seeing is a human body.
You know, I read a statistic that said that the eating of venison has risen 30% in the last few years. 60% of that's from roadkill.
People eat roadkill?
Well, yeah, it's wasteful not to. I mean, sure, it's kinda gross, but once you do all the prep work, there's usually still some decent meat on there. Especially if you eat a deer. Oh, fuck off! Venison's fucking delicious!
If you're driving out here at 70 miles an hour and a deer darts out in front of you, if you blink or brake or swerve, so you just kill yourself.
Oh, fuck!
Our hero, ladies, gentlemen, and envies. Cherry gets grabbed by one of the sickos. Yeah, that's the official term for them according to Rodriguez. And Ray apparently has a goddamn arsenal in his truck, because he grabs a fucking assault rifle and rescues her, but not before they manage to take something of hers. Ray here takes Cherry to the hospital, where she's looked at by Block and, oh great, the fucking cops are here. Okay, how badly is this guy gonna suck?
Now you've got a gal in your wrecked truck with a missing leg? A missing leg that's now missing?
That sounded so much better in your head, didn't it, dude? While the sheriff continues to be a dick to Ray, Ray himself notices a lot of people coming into the hospital with injuries or symptoms similar to what he saw on the road. When he asks to talk about it somewhere else, the sheriff arrests him because Ray's apparently not allowed to own guns for reasons that the movie's not going to explain. I'm sorry, but this is Texas. I thought it was illegal not to own a gun. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. 3 more bodies come in, and one of them causes Block to demand someone go get Dakota. At the sheriff's station, JT calls about a couple of suspicious people loitering on his property. Oh, and he's also the sheriff's brother.
Right now I ain't calling my brother, I'm calling the sheriff.
You cook that meat at 250 degrees, don't you?
I don't remember. I set the heat with my hand.
You give me that recipe or I'll raise your rent higher than Georgia Pine.
Oh, so he's a cop, a shitty brother, and a landlord. I think we've just found one of the worst people in any movie we've covered so far. Back at the hospital, Block shows Dakota the body, who turns out to be the hot driver, and apparently was the person Dakota was planning to run off with. Block does not take this well.
No. Ah!
And after this one, I'll never see you again.
Before Block can kill Dakota, he gets called away because the bodies that were just brought in are gone and apparently got up and walked away. And I hope he gets eaten. Cherry wakes up and discovers her leg is gone. And that's not the only body part that's gone missing tonight.
He bit my finger clean off!
Well, who doesn't love the taste of bacon? You were thinking the same thing, don't deny it. The sicko the deputy captured busted out of the car, and this leads to it and more of them showing up to raise hell, turning most of the deputies into the only good kinds of cops. Dead ones. Ray manages to get a gun and take one out, also managing to break the chain holding his legs. He heads for his truck to go get Cherry, and this leads to the best gag in the movie.
Fine, but we're taking my car. I'm riding with you.
Fucking gold. Back at the hospital, more people with sicko symptoms are pouring in, and Block and the other doctor decide to get the hell out of there. Block goes to finish off Dakota before he leaves, but gets attacked by a now one-armed Joe, who has gone full sicko, and seems to have enough intelligence to deliberately infect Block. We then cut to Earl Parks, the former sheriff, who is taking care of his disabled wife. The sheriff calls him for backup and to meet at JT's. Well, okay, he's a cop, yeah, but it looks like he quit his job to take care of his wife. Maybe I can root for him. Never mind, he's probably dead. Despite her hands being numb, Dakota manages to escape the hospital and into her car, driving off to pick up Tony. At the same time, Ray and the surviving cops show up. Since the sheriff still won't give him a gun, Ray grabs a couple of butterfly knives and does some Kingsman-level parkour to get to Cherry. No, I have no idea how he's not getting infected with all that blood flying around either. Oh yeah, unless you think I actually like Ray.
I was gonna be a stand-up comedian. Who's gonna laugh now?
Some of the best jokes are about cripples.
He's a fucking asshole. And not a lovable one, just a regular macho douchebag that I can't wait to see die. So after Cherry gets a makeshift peg leg, they get out and head for JT's, where the sheriff and the others have already gone. Dakota finally gets home, throws the babysitters out, tells Tony to get his shit, and heads out to get away from, well, everything. Meanwhile, at JT's, the sheriff deputizes everyone except Ray.
Try not to shoot yourselves. Don't shoot each other. But especially, don't shoot me.
I disagree. Ray should shoot the sheriff, but he should not shoot the deputy. Oh, you were thinking that one too. Dakota arrives at a house, but when no one comes out to the sound of her blasting the horn, she does something stupid.
And if anyone comes to the door that isn't me, I want you to shoot them, okay?
What if it's Dad?
Especially if it's your dad.
Yes, please, by all means, shoot your dad. Repeatedly. Without mercy. Yeah, that was inevitable. You gave a 9-year-old a gun, what the fuck did you think would happen? And if you think things can't get any worse for Dakota...
Hello, baby.
Look what you did to our son! Okay, yeah, your husband is a fucking prick who deserves to die, but I'm pretty sure Tony dying is on you, girl. So, it turns out that Earl is Dakota's dad, and he wants nothing to do with her, but lets her in the house anyway. Back at JT's, he shows off what he has in the way of transportation, so everyone can get the hell out of there. But we gotta spend more time on Sharon Ray's stupid torrid romance. And of fucking course he was going to propose to her on the day she left him. Because, yeah, Rodriguez knows how these kinds of movies works, and that's the point. Oh yeah, and of course, the gratuitous sex scene. Let me assure you, this is not us having to summarize this real fast. This is actually how the film plays out. And that missing reel? Kinda important since it supposedly included Ray's entire backstory. And no, it's not in the extended version either. Hell, it's not even in the screenplay. Rodriguez wrote in an actual film break during the sex scene, and the cut to the JTs being on fire. In fact, this is all we get about Ray's backstory.
Thank you for telling me about,
Don't mention it. That's an order.
If I had known that you were El Rey, I wouldn't have given you such a hard time.
Didn't mean to be a prick about it. Need to know base that kind of shit.
At this point, just about everybody with a speaking role in this movie has shown up at JT's, including Earl and Dakota, and they all pack up to get the hell out of town. Earl stays behind to buy the rest of the group some time. Dakota's car is useless, but there is a solution in the trunk. Yeah, it's silly as hell, but it's also fucking hilarious. The crew gets blocked on a bridge by a huge group of sickos, but they get rescued, if you want to call it that, by the soldiers from the beginning of the movie. Remember them? Yeah, not a good thing, especially since Muldoon seems to know who Ray is. Everybody's hauled back to the base and locked up with the other survivors, including Abby, who finally lets the crew and the audience know what the hell is going on. The soldiers were exposed to a chemical gas agent called DC-2,
Also known as Project Terror.
which causes those exposed to become sickos. The only treatment is a regular exposure to the gas, which for some reason staves off the effects. But there's also a small percentage of people immune to it, which is why the soldiers are capturing everyone not infected, in the hopes that they can be used to find a cure, which Abby implies he's been working on. Oh, I guess that is how Ray avoided being infected back at the hospital. In the meantime, they've seized the base because it contains a huge supply of DC-2 underneath it. Everyone caught up? Good, moving on. A couple of the soldiers drag Cherry and Dakota upstairs. Oh, hi, Quentin. And while they're getting menaced in the elevator, JT starts a distraction to take out the guards. He winds up getting shot for his trouble, but... well, damn. Gotta give Ray that one. That was sick as hell. Ray and Abby head downstairs, where Muldoon is getting ready to take the rest of the DC-2. But something goes wrong when the soldiers disarm one of the containers. We're not sure what, but the lighting goes all red and alarms go off, so clearly it doesn't make Muldoon happy. Ray and Abby show up, and we get Muldoon's whole deal. And remember, this movie is from 2007, so... Muldoon's unit was in Afghanistan and ran right into where Osama bin Laden was hiding. Muldoon killed him, but as he so eloquently puts it...
Class A clusterfuck. He wasn't supposed to be there. We weren't supposed to be there, and I sure as fuck wasn't supposed to be the one to punch his dialysis ticket.
And since there was apparently a plan for the public capture of bin Laden, and Muldoon's unit fucked it up, the government gassed them all with DC-2. Because, that makes sense. That led Muldoon to Abby, who was a scientist working for the Afghan government, but was willing to sell the soldiers enough DC-2 to survive and unleash it on a large enough population to find survivors immune to it so a cure could be found.
Science comes first, but business comes a close fucking second.
But as he explains all this, his own supply of DC-2 runs out, and the effects take hold rapidly, forcing Ray and Abby to kill him. Upstairs, Quentin forces Cherry to dance for him. Of course he does. But she takes him down with her wooden leg and then shoves the rest right in his fucking eye. You know, this is oddly cathartic. Unfortunately, she doesn't hold the upper hand long, as the other soldier throws her on the ground. Quentin tries to rape Cherry, but the fact that he hasn't been inhaling the gas means his dick and balls literally disintegrate. Man, I wish I could do that to a lot of guys I know. He keeps on coming, but Dakota's hands finally recover from being numb, and she's able to use the needle gun from earlier to take out the other soldier and dart Quentin in his other eye. Ray and Abby show up to finish off the soldiers, and Ray has a gift for Cherry.
I made you something.
Oh fuck me, that's hilariously stupid in the best way possible. After grabbing guns and destroying the remaining tanks of DC-2, the survivors head out to take the 2 helicopters that are big enough for the whole group to escape in. JT and the sheriff, however, will not be coming with them.
Brother's a good man, JT. Best in Texas.
Your brother's a fucking cop, your landlord, and an asshole, JT. There are much better brothers in Texas. Abby takes part of the group to secure the helicopters. Well, I
don't suppose there are any other biochemical engineers around?
Fuck you for coming up with that joke first, movie. So, since the only person who could possibly synthesize a cure is dead, and the world is now fucked, the survivors decide to go with Ray's original plan. Get the fuck down to Mexico and establish a base with their backs to the ocean and try to survive. Fortunately for them, JT sets off the bombs Ray set up right after the sheriff finally fucking dies. And now we finally get to the hook this entire movie hangs on. So, some questions. How does she reload? How does she even pull the trigger? Who knows, and frankly, who the fuck cares? It's silly, it's stupid, and it's awesome as fuck. As Cherry finishes her rampage, the sicko tries to shoot her. Ray gets there first, but the sicko manages to get off a lucky fatal shot. While Cherry checks on him, the survivors start loading the helicopter. Dakota goes to check out the second one, but somehow Block is there waiting for her. But not for long.
My turn.
Everybody like it, son of a bitch.
Earl and Dakota get back to the first helicopter, which is being piloted by Cherry's asshole boss, who honestly does have some skills. Ray's pretty much a dead man, and he tells Cherry to go. But I guess he left a reminder.
I promise. I'd never miss.
That doesn't sound cool or romantic, dude. It makes you sound like even more of a douchebag. So to wrap things up, Ray dies, Dakota throws Cherry a line, and the survivors establish a base in Mexico near the ocean where they find other survivors and... Wow, the world went completely to shit in less than a year, huh?
2 against the world, baby. 2 against the world.
And that's Planet Terror. We'll get into my thoughts on it at the end of the video. But first, more trailers, starting off with...
Werewolf Women of the SS.
I'm sorry, what the fuck was that?
Werewolf Women of the SS.
Boy, that hits a lot different these days now that actual Nazis are running amok in the country. So if the casting of Sybil Danning and Sherry Moon and the general tastelessness of the premise wasn't a big enough hint, this trailer is by Rob Zombie. In fact, supposedly Zombie shot enough footage for this trailer that it could essentially be edited into a 30-minute short film of its own. That might just be a rumor since nothing else from the trailer has emerged publicly. Although there is one particular reason I kinda want to see if it does exist.
And Nicolas Cage as Fu Manchu.
This is my mission!
Yeah, it may be racist in concept, but at least he's not in yellowface, and frankly, the idea of Nick Cage as Fu Manchu is fucking awesome.
If you are thinking
of going into this house. Don't.
Oh damn, Miss Havisham finally snapped. This is Don't from Edgar Wright, and it's his take on the old dark house movies made by studios like Hammer and Amicus in the late 60s and early 70s.
Don't look behind.
Don't turn around.
Don't look up.
Don't stop believing.
Don't look anywhere.
Don't go breaking my heart.
Don't scream for help.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow.
Don't.
And because no Grindhouse experience is completely without one, here's our obligatory slasher trailer from Eli Roth, Thanksgiving. Now, this is also one of the fake trailers that was eventually turned into an actual movie. Kind of. If we cover Thanksgiving somewhere down the line, we'll get into details there.
In the town of Plymouth, Massachusetts, the fourth Thursday in November is the most celebrated day of the year.
Yes, we're celebrating forcing people off their land even though the Pilgrims were too stupid to manage it themselves. Also, what the fuck is that mascot thing?
You're safe. Mommy's here.
Girl, how the fuck are you not seeing the killer when he does this?
Thanksgiving. You'll come home for the holidays in a body bag.
Anyway, on to our second feature. And another pretty cool retro-style Dimension Films logo, Death Proof opens with a film by Quentin Tarantino over a shot of a woman's feet. Yeah, that tracks. Let's see here, who's in this? Kurt Russell, Vanessa Ferlito, Tracy Toms, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Sidney Poitier. A lot of real talent in this movie, plus a lot of women on my to-do list. Speaking of, the first part of this movie, we're following mostly these three women. Shanna, Arlene, and Julia, who is a DJ on a local radio station under the name Jungle Julia. Which is, look, naming her that was a choice, but I don't want to get into a whole digression about Thermian arguments or any of that. This review's long enough. So let's just say Quentin Tarantino's weird about women in general and black women in specific, and leave the details to more qualified reviewers. See the Shaft review for details about why we shouldn't delve into it deeply. The three of them are having a girls' night out, with plans to go to the lake house Shanna's dad owns with some friends later. And I'm going to be upfront with you about this, gang. This movie has a lot of talking about nothing. And I mean, even for a Tarantino movie, there is a lot of talking about nothing. So we're probably going to be skipping over quite a bit to talk about what little story there is here. As the three of them head to their first stop for girls' night, we see they're being followed by a black muscle car, which Arlene spots as she has a cigarette outside the restaurant. I originally thought this was a Chevy Impala, which of course makes me ready to write tons of supernatural jokes, but it turns out this is actually a 1970s Chevy Nova. So, right manufacturer, wrong model. Damn it. Don't worry, we'll talk about Supernatural eventually, I hope. In the restaurant, the girls meet a friend of Julia's who lets slip that Julia said something about Arlene during her show earlier in the day.
I could explain what I said, which would be boring. Or Marcy over here, who is an incredible actress, could act it out for you.
Honestly, Julia, having Marcy act out some cringeworthy scene in the middle of a restaurant sounds even more boring. Can I just fuck Marcy instead? She's cute.
Well, don't you think she's got a big ass? For your information, skinny bitch, black men and a whole lot of motherfucking white men have had plenty fun adoring my ass.
'Cause they like big butts and they cannot lie. That's basically all I can quote from that song without us getting slapped by copyright. And me sounding like even more of a stupid white girl. Anyway, they finally get to the point.
They look you dead in the eye and repeat this poem. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, and I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep.
This movie is not smart enough to be quoting Frost, especially not in this context.
If they say that, you gotta give them a lap dance.
What?
Oh, for fuck's sake, Julia. Bad enough you didn't tell her immediately after you got off the air, or better, before you got on the air, but judging from this dialogue earlier...
Yeah, now thanks to you, we gotta tell her sooner than later.
You weren't even planning on telling her until it happened, were you? God, you're a terrible friend. No, not even with you giving Arlene an out.
Look, You don't have to do it for anybody you don't want. I said you do it for the first guy who says it. So, some geek comes over trying to be cool, just tell him you already did it at another place earlier. No harm, no foul.
Later in the evening, after meeting up with a couple of dudes and getting their other friend Lena to show up with weed, Julia sends a text. The old school method of texting taught us all to be really quick on the buttons. Younger kids don't know how good they've got it with full keyboards and shit on phones now. Fine, I'm old enough to vote, old enough to drink, old enough to know better, and old enough that you can perv your deviant little hearts out over me and it won't be weird, okay? Arlene steps out for another smoke, and the dudes get more drinks for Shanna and Julia.
Bombay Sapphire and tonic. No ice.
Good boy.
Can Julia call me a good girl just once? I think I deserve it for tackling the last 22 minutes of nothing! And it's apparently late enough that the lights need to be turned on in the parking lot. And this finally is where we meet our villain for the movie, stuntman Mike McKay, played by Kurt Russell. This year is going to be full of dudes who have no idea how to eat food without being disgusting, isn't it? And speaking of dudes being disgusting...
Check it out. Wonder if BJ brought the bear with him. Jesus. He's pounding down. Dude fucking cut himself falling out of his time machine.
Sir, you do not disrespect Kurt Russell like that. Although, this happens while they were shooting that scene.
Check out fucking Tony Montana over there. Fucking Two-Face.
I can't believe I'm doing that to fucking Snake Plissken. Oh, sorry, you're the coolest guy ever. You have no idea how painful this is for me to do this.
I know we don't normally do behind-the-scenes footage here, but that was just way too funny to not include. Rose McGowan makes her appearance here as Pam. Pam has been drinking all night and doesn't have a ride home. And so, Mike makes a move.
Will you be able to, drive later?
I know looks can be deceiving. But I'm a teetotaler.
Okay. Why would someone who doesn't drink spend hours at a bar drinking water?
You know, a bar offers all kind of things other than alcohol.
Really? Like what?
Women. Nacho Grande platters.
You know what? He's got a point. I do a lot, including not drink, if it meant I was getting women and a Nacho Grande platter out of the deal. Later, Mike tries the poem shit out on Arlene. Julia tries to get her out of it, but Mike calls Arlene out.
Is it my scar?
No, it's the fact that you're old enough to be her dad, dude.
Have you been following us?
No, but that's what I love about Austin. It's just so damn small.
Oh, for God's sake, Austin's not some podunk burg out in the middle of nowhere. It's fucking huge. Anyway, Mike gets insightful on Arlene, pointing out that she acts like nobody has actually tried the poem shit on her all night, and pretty much charms and goads her into going ahead with the lap dance. Not that the theatrical cut has it. And speaking of things you can't see, YouTube doesn't allow us to show you all the really good stuff from these movies, so if you'd like uncut and uncensored episodes of this show, as well as early access to new videos from my series and others the producer makes, please donate to Patreon at patreon.com/dubiouscon. All money goes to keeping the Roxy open and paying my voice box. So please, open your hearts, open your wallets, because we'd really like to do more than one episode a month. Also, we like to eat. The evening winds down and Pam finally gets her ride home with Mike.
Is it safe?
No, it's better than safe. It's death proof.
How do you make a car death proof?
So, give the stunt team the car you want to smash up, take her and reinforce that fucker everywhere, and voila. You got yourself a death proof automobile. Well, this is a movie car. Sometimes when you're shooting a crash, director wants to put a camera in the car. You know, shoot the crash from the inside. That's where you put the camera. They call it a crash box. Here. There you go.
Not gonna lie, riding in a crash box seat sounds fun as hell. Probably more exciting than the back of a motorcycle. Just, not with Mike.
This car is 100% death proof. Only to get the benefit of it, honey, you really need to be sitting in my seat.
And then he kills Julia, Arlene, Shanna, and Lena. Gee, glad we spent the last 40 minutes focused on characters who in any other serial killer movie would have been dead in the first 15. Well, except for Prom Night. Hey, at least he got it in earlier than an hour. We go to the hospital where we see Dakota and Earl from Planet Terror confirming that yes, both movies seem to take place in the same universe, although Death Proof takes place before Planet Terror. Oh, Earl also appears in Kill Bill, so I guess you could tie that movie into these as well. Anyway, because Mike was sober and the girls were both drunk and high, the DA refuses to press charges against Mike. This pisses off Earl, mostly because he knows Mike used the car to kill them, probably as some kind of sex thing, but since he can't prove it in court, he's gotta let Mike go. And now our focus shifts to Mike's next batch of potential victims. Abby, played by Rosario Dawson, real-life stuntwoman Zoe Bell playing herself, and my two beloveds, Kim, played by Tracy Toms, and Lee, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. And let me clarify something that this version of the movie doesn't. In the extended cut, the movie makes it clear that it's 18 months later and we're now in Tennessee. Just in case you were wondering about the timeline and all. All four of this batch of girls work in the movie business because of course they do. Abby is a makeup artist, Lee's an actress, Kim's a stunt driver, and Zoe's a stunt performer. Kim, Lee, and Abby are off work for the next few days, and Zoe's come to town to hang out with them. Which means yet another boring, lengthy conversation about guys.
Kim's boyfriends start out as somebody else's boyfriend.
I did not steal him. I didn't steal any of them. They just jumped ship.
Sorry, gotta side with Kim here. You can't steal a boyfriend or a significant other of any kind. They make their own decisions and they can live with the consequences. Especially if those consequences involve the car spontaneously combusting in their apartment complex parking lot at 4:30 in the morning. What? Anyway, to move this along, they stop to get lunch, where Abby tells a story talking about how agile Zoe is, and Kim reveals she packs a gun.
And you can't get around the fact that if I go down to the laundry room in my building at midnight enough times, I might get my ass raped.
Don't do your laundry at midnight.
Fuck that, I want to do my laundry whenever the fuck I want to do my laundry.
Okay, yes, you should be able to do your laundry whenever you want, but unless you have your own house or live in an apartment complex or building that has a separate location for the laundry room, don't do your laundry at midnight. It disturbs your neighbors, Edgar!
If I ever become a famous actress, I won't carry a gun. I'll hire me a dude dirt nigga and he'll carry the gun. And when shit goes down, I'll sit back and laugh. But until that day, it's Wild West, motherfucker.
You know, it suddenly occurs to me that the high-femme lesbian mom rocket scientist Tracy Toms plays on 911 is actually against type for her. Yeah, I watch normie core procedurals. Sue me. Zoe tells the girls the first thing she wants to do is drive a 1970 Dodge Challenger, the same model of car from the carsploitation movie Vanishing Point. And she's not willing to drive anything else to the point of finding someone in town who is selling one. Her plan, tell the owner she might want to buy it to convince them to let her take it on a solo test drive. So they drive to the farm where the car is, and here's where Tarantino forgets the whole gimmick this project is based around. Suddenly, the footage looks normal for a 2007 movie. No dirt, no grain, no scratches or distressing, and it pretty much stays like that until the end of the movie with a couple of exceptions. Kind of annoying, really. Commit to the bit, sir. I will say this, though. This group of characters is a hell of a lot more likable than the last, and at least their conversations don't take up the full back half of this movie. At the farm, they meet Jasper, the owner of the car.
What do you horny gals want?
Oh, charming. The car, however, is fucking gorgeous and perfect for Zoe, except she's also got an ulterior motive.
If he lets us take it out on our own, I want to play ship's mast.
So, this is a stunt game created for the movie. It is one of the most fucking stupidly dangerous things I've ever encountered. We'll get into the actual details in a minute, but for now, just let Kim's reaction tell the story.
You said, not only are we never gonna play ship's mast again, but you also said, if you ever do what you try to do now, to not only refuse, but that I had permission to physically restrain your ass if necessary.
I'll crack your back.
You'll crack it anyway.
Well, of course I'll crack it anyway. But now, while I'm here, I'll be your back-cracking slave.
Zoe just offered to go down on her. For fuck's sake, it's gotten me to do more than my fair share of stupid shit in my life. Of course, I'd go down on Tracy Toms even if I didn't want to do stupid shit. Sorry, where were we? Once Kim's on board, the two of them tell Abby they're going to leave her and Lee as collateral while they drive the car. Abby, who apparently has been excluded from adventures like this before, offers to convince Jasper to let them take the car in exchange for coming along.
While we're taking the car out for a little spin,
That'll give you a better opportunity to get acquainted with our other friend.
Oui.
Why does she look kind of familiar?
That would be because she's a famous actress.
Oh. Is it a porno movie?
Yes, it is. But don't mention it. She's shy.
Abby is a terrible friend. No, that's not a joke. She's a terrible friend. She's basically implied Lee's a porn actress who will get it on with anybody, including Jasper, who, let's be clear, the movie is painting as a drunk redneck who is completely capable of sexual assault. And Abby does this just because she doesn't want to stay behind, and she doesn't warn Lee in the slightest of what she's implied. Terrible friend. Oh, and after they take the car, the movie implies Lee's about to star in a real-life Ms. 45 remake. And this is the last we see of Lee or Jasper in this movie. Seriously, why does this keep happening to Mary Elizabeth Winstead? She keeps getting shitty roles in movies like this. I don't think she had anything really decent until Birds of Prey. Okay, maybe Scott Pilgrim a little bit, but I have mixed feelings on that movie. Well, maybe Sky High too, but that was early in her movie career and marketed to the Disney tween set, so your mileage may vary on that. Okay, Ship's Mask consists of tying a couple of belts into loops on the window frames of the car, then climbing your dumbass out on the hood and holding onto the belts for dear life, while the driver increases speed and drives like a lunatic. And sure, Zoe's pretty good at it, but her plans go south because this is where Mike re-enters the movie. So the last 20 minutes or so of this movie is largely all car chase, but it is split up into two distinct phases. After Mike terrorizes the girls, phase 1 ends when he manages to run them both off the road, sending Zoe flying. And that, he's about to find out, was a mistake.
Well, adios! Oh, fuck!
Mike, finally revealing himself as the fragile douche he is, drives off like a little bitch, while Abby and Kim try to figure out what to do.
I'm okay. Oh, shit! God damn it! Oh, you fucking bitch.
So since Zoe's alive and completely nonchalant about almost dying, the three of them decide on some good old-fashioned revenge. On the one hand, common sense says not to chase the deranged maniac down. On the other...
Let's kill this bastard.
Oh, why? Oh, no! Oh, ah!
Do you think this is a regular thing Kurt Russell does? Or is he just that good of an actor? I had a date once where we made a similar noise. Similar situation too, although cars weren't involved. Actually, now that I think about it, I kinda had the same reaction Kim has a little later in this phase of the chase.
I'm the horniest motherfucker on the road!
After terrorizing local livestock and traffic...
Did you just hit a boat?
Mike finally gets what's coming to him.
Right, bitch. Oh, you want some skin? Oh, my fuck!
Never thought I'd be jealous of a serial killer. Tracy Toms can punch me in the face anytime she wants. But I think we need something a little more over the top to cap things off. Ah, perfect! A trauma-style head crush! And yeah, that's the end of Death Proof. So of the two movies, Planet Terror commits to the bit harder. It's more over the top, more intense, and yes, just as silly as many schlocky 80s movies. It uses the hallmark of the Grindhouse to reinforce the vibe it's going for. Film damage, missing reels, all of it reinforces the idea that we're watching a movie from an alternate universe where Robert Rodriguez and the cast never made it big and had to make do making cheesy gore films to get by. Death Proof is mostly pretty good, especially the final chase sequence, but it is kinda Tarantino at his most, well, Tarantino self-indulgent. Overlong dialogue scenes that ultimately go nowhere, constant reference to old 70s TV and movies, and focus on characters who are ultimately unimportant to the story. Add to that the sudden abandonment of the Grindhouse style once the movie gets to Jasper's, and the unceremonious way Lee's just written out of the story, and it seems like he just decided to make another typical Tarantino movie than trying to make part of his coherent experience. And it really makes you wonder if watching the extended cut is even worth it. Spoiler, it isn't. All the good stuff is in this version, and it has the advantage of being about 25 minutes shorter. But take it as a whole, Grindhouse is a fun time. The 2 movies plus the trailers do make a worthwhile movie-going experience, and it's a shame it didn't do well at the box office. I saw this movie twice in theaters, and while the crowds weren't huge, everybody I saw it with was clearly having a blast. The experience is a little diminished watching at home, but if you can get a bunch of friends together who've never seen the theatrical cut, it can make for a great movie night. Next time, we kind of go in the opposite direction. As we look at a movie that was such a box office bomb, it was partially responsible for the demise of one of the most prolific B-movie studios ever seen. And strangely enough, this was, for all intents and purposes, a kids' movie. So join me next time as I continue to show you what lurks on the other side of the silver screen.